So any news on Brandon this morning, or no?
No, in fact, he didn't do it yesterday night because he had the flu a little bit, and so they wouldn't do anything the day before. So they're doing it right now as we speak. Right now as we speak, because he had classes today, so they're doing it at whatever. He left here at 10 minutes after practice started.
Doing what?
They're taking the pins out.
Did you rule him out for Sunday?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The when you look at the first meeting, reflecting on what you could have done, it seemed like that was the first game where you had two guys down and you actually played pretty well. Did you think you played pretty well in the first meeting?
We did, but as you watch the film, we didn't do the things that we could have done to win the game either. You know, we were 8 up, we're 6 up, we're 4 up. We had opportunities. We took a couple bad shots. We missed a free throw cutout that cost us 2 points. A couple of bad switches that cost us. I mean, it didn't matter who was playing. We had the people in there to do the job. We did not execute the game plan and do the job. And that was disappointing. What was encouraging is I thought we played as hard as any team I've had. I thought we did a lot of good things. We played hard. We had some really strange lineups because they were smaller. So, that played into part of it. Russell Bird on that 1-3 on the out-of-bounds play. Guy never played the position we were in. So, I understood some of it, disappointed in some of it. We had our chances here at home, and give them credit, they beat us.
Tom, the whole state's going to make this an all-or-nothing game. It really isn't, though, is it?
No, it's not. There's, the program's job, when I first got to the point where we were playing for championships, and then we won a couple, I said, we've got to be in a position the last 2 weeks of the season to play mathematically for a championship. And as I said, we've done it many a times, and here we are with 4 games left, 2 weeks of the season, and we're in that position. But as we learn, I'm not counting any games sure things for either team, or Iowa for that matter, because there's a lot of games left. And, we're not where we need to be yet. I mean, everybody knows that. You saw, AP, you're seeing him more tired because he's got to work to get in better shape. You saw Keith where he's at. So, sometimes that helps you to get those guys back. Sometimes it makes it hard in some ways. So, people can say what they want. I'm worried about my team, and that's all.
Was there any part of you that held out a little tiny bit of hope that Brandon might be back this week, or was it kind of...
Not when I found out that the biggest worry they have now is not that it's healed and any infection. So when they put the little cut in it, they worry about infection, and that's why it's got to close up, or otherwise you could have real problems. So that ended that midway through the week, sort of.
The timing of having a few days off before another game after this game, good for him in some regards?
Great for him, great for us. I mean, it does come at a good time because of, as you say, we'll have, 6 days, 7 days, 6 days to get to our next game, and hopefully we can work on us a little bit instead of constantly worrying about our opponents. And that's what you got to do, because even today, we got to bed about 4 o'clock, so it's a quick turnaround, and couldn't do a lot today. And that's the problem we're having right now, is getting a chance to work on us, not just our opponents.
You talk about Adrian's development and understanding what defenses are giving him and how to play it. I mean, you look at the Texas game, needed the post, gave it to you. They gave him the outside shot yesterday, took it.
I think offensively, Adrian's playing as good as he can play. He's passed the ball out. He's hit some guys on the weak side. He's made threes. He's made free throws. He's got to the line a little bit more. And he's shown where he can still post and do some things in the post. Where I think the lack of conditioning has hurt is on our break and the defensive end. And, he's working at it, but that's far from decent. And he was really doing a great job. So that's what we got to kind of really work on now, is get him back in shape. And it's hard to do that when you got games every couple days. Next week we got to get him back on a treadmill or in the pool and do some things to get him his conditioning back.
So assuming that the surgery goes well, Coach, what would be maybe the earliest we're looking at now for us?
But next weekend, I think that would be the earliest we'd be looking at. There's no games till then, so.
Don't play many noon games. Like it, hate it, indifferent?
I don't know, just another thing for people to pick apart. Don't matter to me. I get up Players. I don't. Same for both teams. Doesn't matter.
How is Michigan different than when you saw them the first time? At all?
I don't think they're a lot different. I think they've had different guys getting hot. Early Stauskas was really hot when we played him the first time. Now Levert has been really hot the last couple games. But I don't think they're a lot different. They're running the same thing because they had a week off that they put in some wrinkles probably. But the game's gonna be won by who plays the hardest and who makes shots. And somebody's got to defend somebody, and someone's got to take care of the ball, and someone's got to play hard. And I think that's about as simplex as it gets.
You talk about this not being an all or nothing game necessarily, but you've survived the injuries with everything in your control until now. This is one of those games where if you lose it, you lose that control a little bit.
No, we lose it to you guys. I mean, my team is nowhere near having a full group back. I mean, we just got bodies back. We don't have anything else back, and so.
I mean, in terms of losing control of the Big Ten race,
I'm
the first
sorry.
time that this is the first game where you would lose that control if you weren't able
Yeah,
to get that.
yeah, and that's the way it's supposed to be at the end of the year. My apology on what you said, but that's what the end of the year is for. We had our chance to go up a game, we didn't do it. They had their chance to go up a game, they didn't do it, and I don't think it gets any better than this. This is kind of what everybody hopes for. A game right down the stretch. Unfortunately, we both got, I think, 3 games left after it, but it puts somebody a leg up on somebody else. Doesn't mean it's over, but it means you're right. Right now, we control our own destiny. So do they. And after the game on Sunday, somebody won't control their own destiny.
Coach, forgive me if this was asked last night, not to nitpick, but all the three-pointers and making that percentage is great. Are you concerned that you weren't able to get more in the paint?
Yeah, disappointed in a way, but you do what people give you to a certain extent, and I think that's one thing this team has. I thought last night we took the best kind of threes that we've taken all year. We were taking some poor threes in a couple of those games, Wisconsin, and if you take 30 threes and they're inside-out threes, or they're penetrating kick threes, or they're swing threes, I'd still rather get the ball inside. Then remember, too, Adrian only played 22 minutes. He was out of the game because of foul trouble, and that is my biggest concern. Why are we in foul trouble all the time? And, that's something we can't do against Michigan because they're a great free throw shooting team.
Extending that thought, do you get concerned when you hit that many threes that they're going to fall in love with the three?
Well, that's kind of what Mike said, and I don't know. I don't know what they fall in love with. I know what I fall in love with, and it isn't the threes, but it is good shots, and maybe that's the way I should say it. If whatever they give us, if it's a good shot, I feel comfortable that we got enough guys that can make different shots. We didn't get to the line quite enough. We got there a decent amount last night. They got to the line a lot more, and I'm not sure they really pounded it inside. It was on the break. It was penetration a little bit. I'd like to see us penetrate a little bit more, as much as I would throw it into the post.
Does having Keith on the floor just as a quarterback make a lot of difference even when he can't shoot like he can?
Well, it makes a lot of difference. I mean, he's been our kind of leader for a couple of years. He's a 4-year starter. It makes a difference, but you could see sometimes when his brain was telling his legs what to do, and his legs told his brain to go take a flying leap,
Happens to me all the time.
Yeah, I know, all the time. I'm just not sure your brain's telling you, but for him, his brain was telling him, and he made some great moves, inside-out moves. You could see he just didn't. But another couple days of practice, and then next week, I expect that we can practice with our full group, and other than BJ, I don't know when but these guys, and I think that too will help us a lot.
What's the advantage of the sweat? What's the advantage of having seniors with kind of sweat equity in a game like this? You look at how much Keith was hurt by the last loss. Adrian watching that and things.
Well, I think it's tremendous. Even BJ in that last game. That's what seniors are all about. And that's what the in-state rivalry is all about. So those two things. They want to win too, but I think the sweat equity is a good way to put it. And not only has Keith put in sweat equity, but he's changed. He's changed as a person. He's changed as a player. I think he's made great progress, and so you hope he can finish out like you'd want him to.
What has Trice brought to you, and how have you seen him grow in his opportunities these last few games?
You know, again, Trice is a guy that if you looked over the 3 years, he's probably been injured more than all the guys put together. And right now, he's playing his injury-free, and it just kind of shows you what kind of player. Since the turnover 6-1, he's hitting threes, he's making plays. His defense is getting better. If he could ever have a year where he doesn't get sick in that, you know, and keep that weight on and get it up to 180 pounds, you know. Still half the size of you, Freddie, but we're getting there, I know. But when we do that, if he does that, you know, I think he's going to be, I think people are starting to realize that, you know what, things aren't going to be so bad next year, you know. Not that I'm looking even one day for next year, but they're not going to be, because he's brought a lot to the table on all ends. The one area I'd like to see him do a better job of, so ask him when you interview him, is he's got to push the ball more and harder all the time. And I think he will.
And then following up with Denzel. Denzel's been a glue guy that's gone all over. What's his role in this Michigan game now that AP's back?
Well, he's still going to, you know, we might play a lot of different lineups. We might go big, we might go small. And Denzel's my utility guy. He's going everywhere. But you talk about a guy that has, you know, he's the only guy really of the top 8 that has played in every game. The only guy that should be tired, and he looks fresh as a daisy to me. So I think it speaks volumes of who Denzel is and what he's done. And he, too, this is a big game as it is for their players. But it's always a little more when you had a dad who played here, when you grew up here. And I think Denzel will be ready to play.
For all the Kentuckys and Dukes and North Carolinas you've played, is this still your favorite game to play in, coaching?
Yes, yeah, it really is. Even down there is my favorite place to go in a way, because that's the ultimate, is beating somebody on the road. You know, they got us here. I'm sure that, you know, looking at some of their players, I think that was a big game for them. And so it's always your rivalry, and when you grow up in this state, it really is that way. Not that I mind going to Kentucky or Duke or Carolina, but Michigan's still the best rivalry.
A lot of people have said that maybe you should be the coach of the year, and then a lot of people have said that Beilein's had a good year. What would you say about the job Coach Beilein's done in Ann Arbor?
I think he's done a great job. You know, I really do, and he probably deserves that accolade. He's got, you know, he's got this similar team back other than McGarry, but he's got those 2 bigs that have started for a couple of years themselves, and lost some people, but he has some. You know, I think this team runs a little bit more like he wants that offense to run, you know, where last year it ran so much through Trey that this is a little bit more his kind, I think. So I'd vote for him.
My colleagues will forgive me, I'm doing a piece for Sunday on Doug Herner, and I've only talked to you off the record about him, and you bust his chops about being a Michigan guy, but how unlikely is it that you'd have a Michigan guy on your staff?
Well, it's not bad. That's why I have him here. I usually go hit him every morning and stuff like that, you know, beat him up a little bit and kick him around, and I tell a couple of jokes from Judd, and it's good to have Herner here. But Doug Herner is one of the first people I met here when he was a high school coach and I was a GA. And you know, when he retired, and I talked to him about coming on board and helping with my camps, and he's just, I'm not sure I'd still be here if it wasn't for Doug Herner, because every day he brings some sense of realism, and he's pessimistically optimistic like Judd, but he keeps me grounded. He keeps me real, and you know, I love the guy. He's great.
I never realized he doesn't go to this game, ever.
No, he doesn't go to this game, only because I don't want him. I'm afraid he'll trade on us and tell secrets, so it's more me than him. I just don't let him go to this game.
Did you guys end up flying back last night, or did you have to?
No, we bust. We got in at 4. Hell, that's why I said practice today. I mean, I don't know. I got to bed after 4, and it's tough.
We only saw the last few minutes, but was Gary 100% today?
Yeah, he just, you know, a little tired from last night. I didn't want to mess around with him at the end, so yeah, he's fine. He's fine. Everybody's actually pretty healthy. I mean, that's one thing that we are good at.